Welcome to the 2016 State Cup Information and Draw. Last year, Maryland had unprecedented success at the national and the regional level, winning 2 national championships, the U13 Baltimore Celtic Derby and the U16 Baltimore Celtic. We also had 4 regional champions, the U12 Bethesda Blue, the U13 FC Frederick, the U15 Fuster, and the U17 Baltimore Celtic. This year, as MSYSA prepares to celebrate their 40th anniversary, we have added a few new items and new rules to this year's Cup competition, which we think will enhance the program that we have, which is one of the highest regarded within the state. Clearly, one of the new items for this year is the fact that we are no longer having a meeting, but having this show today that we will provide you with some information regarding the Cup, and then we'll actually be doing the draws on live webcast. So let's go ahead and begin, talk a little bit about the format for this year. As in years past, we will be using a single elimination tournament format. And as you can see on the screen now, we list the State Cup dates for the U12 through the U17 age groups. The U18 and the U19 age groups are a bit different as they begin play a little bit later during the spring season. As you can see, the first weekend of March 5th and 6th is the play-in games for the girls, and it continues on until the finals on Sunday, June the 5th. All of these games we played for the play-in game, the round of 16 games through the finals, will all be played at the Maryland Soccerplex, which is one of the finest soccer facilities in the entire United States. The play-in games will be played at various sites throughout the state of Maryland on turf fields in March. One of the new items this year that's very important to remember is that teams that lose in the play-in rounds are eligible, and we would actually encourage them to then participate in the President's Cup, which the deadline is at the end of March. The second new item that we have this year, and a very important item, is the game conflict form. In the past, there's been many times where there's been situations where teams had conflicts and were unable to get those fixed during the game process. This year, for every single round, there will be a 3-day window where you can go onto the website and you can actually request game times or game conflicts that we can then incorporate into the schedule. As an example, for the first play-in round games for the girls, the window will begin tomorrow, February the 8th, and will last 3 days till February 10th, where the teams that are involved in those games can actually go online and request or give us any scheduling information. Please remember again that any teams that play Region 1, those games have priority on Saturdays, and that the State Cup games have priorities on Sundays. If you have any kind of a conflict on the weekends that you're scheduled to play, you must fill out a game conflict form in order for us to schedule. Once the schedules have been completed, they will be finalized and will remain so for the games. Remember again that this year, as in past years, there's a check-in before every State Cup game at the site. At that time, all the cards will be shown for each player, and each team will be required to give us an actual State Cup roster. This year again, besides the State Cup champions, Maryland was awarded 2 wildcard teams. So in the U16 boys and in the U17 girls, both the championship team and the runner-up team will be actually attending regionals representing the state of Maryland. I would like to caution every team that is a finalist should, though, be prepared in case other openings occur later on to represent the state of Maryland at the Eastern Regionals, which this year again will be in Barboursville, West Virginia. The last thing as far as the competition and the format is I would like to make sure that everyone looks online at the suspension list from last year. This includes players and coaches who received a red card in their final MSYSA State Cup game and then did not advance on to regionals and will have to sit out the first game of this year's State Cup competition. Now let's move on to a couple of the rule changes that have occurred for this year. First of all, as far as the rosters are concerned, in the U12 and U13, the roster must have a majority of on-age players. Also, the new rule part of this is that they must also compete in the same age group as their qualifying league that they play in. Secondly, remember again that the U13 through U15 cannot have players that are more than 2 years younger than their actual age group, and that in the U16 and U19 cannot have a player that is younger than U14. Next, please make sure that you look online at the calendar, and that gives the roster freeze date for each level of competition and for each age group. The roster freeze date is dependent upon when your first game is in State Cup. Normally it is 4 days prior to your first game that you play, but the dates are very important. Your roster, your final roster that will be used for the entirety of the State Cup competition will be due on that day and will be used at the sites. Referee fees. Referee fees are to be paid in cash to the referees on the field. And again, remembering that those fees are to be paid in cash. Next, transfers. Again, this is a new rule. As far as transfers are concerned, each team is allowed to have 5 players that were not on the team last year and that were being added to their team for this year. I apologize. Last year, each transfer counted as one of the 5. This year, any transfer from within the same club will not count as one of your 5 transfers. So let me repeat that again in case I confused anyone. In order to be qualified for Cup, you're allowed a total of 5 transfers during this seasonal year. Those are players that have come from another team's roster. The only change being this year is that players that are transferred from within the same club do not count as transfers. We've already talked about the competition, the fact that it is a single elimination tournament. The only thing that we want to remind everyone there is that both teams and players are only allowed to play in one cup competition, whether it be in the state of Maryland or in another state that's in the National Championship Series. Uniforms and undergarments. We've made a few changes here, hopefully to make things easier on all of the teams involved. This is an area last year where there was some confusion between the teams and sometimes between the referees. So this part of it's going to be very important, and we've tried to simplify it so that all teams have the easiest possible way to make sure that they would abide by the rules. As far as undershirts, or shirts that are underneath the game jersey, they must be the same color as the game jersey, or if it's the home team, it would be a white shirt, or if it's a visiting team, it would be a black shirt. As far as the spandex or any of the undershorts that are under the game jerseys, they must be the same color as the game shorts and cannot go below the knees. This year, we are allowing tights to be used during the games. Again, the tights must be the same color as the game shirt. Unlike last year, we are not going to be requiring that the tape on the socks be the same color as the socks. We are not going to worry this year about any of the tape and what the color is on the socks. Another area that we've had considerable questions about in the past is concussions. And again, the concussion part is very important as we have players involved in our game. Remember that if a player is removed from the game due to a concussion, they cannot return to that game unless a physician or a certified person is there at the site and will okay for them to go back into the game. If that player is taken out of the game by a concussion and cannot return, we must have, and that team advances, we must have a written notification from, again, a physician or a qualified medical trainer that that person no longer has any concussion symptoms and is permitted to play in the games. Another new item for this year, as far as overtime is concerned. Last year, until we reached the semifinal round, we went straight from the regular game to penalty kicks. This year we are returning back, again due to a lot of feedback from teams, we're returning back to the fact that there will be overtime for every cup game, starting with the play-in rounds. So what that means is if the game is tied at the end of regulation, you will then go to an overtime period. If the game remains tied after that, you will then go to FIFA penalty kicks from the spot. Again, we feel that this is the fairest way or the best way to help try to determine who the winner is, especially in a single elimination format. Also, just a reminder that no alcoholic beverages or smoking is permitted at any of the sites. That's very important, especially as we try to set the really good example for all of our players that are participating in State Cup. Substitutions. Substitutions in the U12 or the U14 age group are unlimited and can be made at any time during the game. In U15 and above, you can only, once a player is substituted out of the game, they cannot no longer enter during that half or overtime. So if a player comes out at the middle of the first half, they can then come in during the second half at any time or into overtime. But once they leave during a half or during an overtime, they cannot re-enter. And again, at the end of the finals, which this year will all be held on Sunday, June the 5th, there will be an award ceremony for all of the different divisions at the headquarters tent that we expect all teams to attend. And that's very important. A couple other rules that we haven't mentioned that I want to just touch on very quickly. Number one, please remember that the winning team submits match reports to State Cup representatives after each game. A new rule this year is that players that were on the roster, that on teams that had more than 18 present and were not participating in that game, in the past were not allowed to sit on the bench during the game. This year that has been changed. So for an example, if you're a U18 team and you have 22 players on your roster, 18 players are designated to play in that game, but the 4 remaining players may this year sit on the bench but cannot be in uniform and will designate it as not to play. The only exception to this rule are suspended players and suspended coaches, and they cannot be in the bench area or on the team bench during those games. We look forward to a great Cup year, and we're really looking forward to everything that the Cup brings as far as the excitement and the chance for our teams to do well in regionals. A couple of other items before we get to the draw. Number one, this year the state will be providing the match balls for all of the tournament games. The teams will not have to worry about going to pick up their individual ball and bringing them. They will be brought to each one. The state has gone out and secured some excellent team balls as far as the games are concerned, and we're looking forward to that. Secondly, we do have some unbelievable apparel that will be on sale as far as State Cup for this year. Starting tomorrow, there will be an online apparel website where you can actually start and begin to order some of the different items that we have for on sale. In addition, we will all have at each State Cup site items that will be sold at the individual site to the different people that are involved in State Cup. Again, we look forward to a great Cup, and we look forward to having the draw here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and look at a couple of the videos that we had from last year's competition. Okay, we're now going to begin the State Cup draw for this year. I have Linda Norton from the MSYSA board that will be assisting us during this process. Again, as I said earlier, the State Cup competition is a single elimination process. And for each age group, we have a possibility of 4 teams that could be seeded from the previous year. The State Cup champion, the State Cup finalist, and then the 2 semifinalists are the teams that would receive a seeded position. Now, in some age groups, though, we will not have 4, based upon really 2 reasons. One would be the fact that a team did not return or did not apply for this year. But secondly, and probably more prevalent, is the fact that a roster does not have continuity. When we say continuity, by rule, a roster this year must have at least 51% returning from last year's roster that participated in the State Cup. And so because of that, we may have some divisions that have only 2 or 3 seeds, and those seeds are placed in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd slots. So let's go ahead and begin. The other thing I wanted to point out is at the end of each draw, we will then be putting the brackets on the board, and that you'll be able to see what the brackets look like in their entirety after the draw has been done. We're going to begin with the U12 girls. This year, the U12 girls have 8 entries. Because there was not a competition last year, none of the teams are seeded, so all 8 will be done from the draw. So let's begin for the U12 girls. Okay, the first seed is the Perry Hall White Marsh Bayhawks Premier. Again, the first seed, Perry Hall Bayhawks Premier. The second seed, I should take them out a little earlier. The second seed for U12 is the Baltimore Celtic Legends, second seed. The third seed for the U12 girls, Salisbury United SC Gold. Fourth seed is the Alliance Soccer Club Premier. Fifth seed for the U12 girls is the Bethesda Academy Blue. The sixth seed for the U12 Girls Cup is the Maryland United Football Girls Red. The seventh seed for the U12 girls is the Bethesda Academy White. And the eighth and final seed in the U12 girls draw for this year will be the St. Mary's Soccer Power. St. Mary's Soccer Power is the eighth seed. So again, that completes the U12 girls draw. As I said before, there are 8 teams. There are 8 teams there that are in that group. Their first games we played the weekend of April 23rd and 24th at the Soccerplex. Again, U12 girls. Now we're going to go on to the U12 boys. For the U12 boys, this year they have 10 teams within their bracket. And again, because there were no teams last year that were in that bracket, all teams will be drawn for the placement. So let's begin again with the U12 boys. U12 boys. First seed for the U12 boys is Bethesda Green, number 1 seed. The second seed for the U12 boys is Salisbury United Gold. Third seed for the U12 boys is Potomac Blue. Fourth seed for the U12 boys is Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. The fifth seed for the U12 boys is Montgomery Soccer Academy White. The next seed for U12 boys is Greater Severna Park Heat. The seventh seed for the U12 boys is the Maryland United Football Red. The eighth seed is the FC USA team, will be the eighth seed. The ninth seed in U12 boys will be the Brasa United Football Club, 03. And the 10th and final seed for the U12 boys will be Bethesda Soccer Club Blue. So again, that is the bracket for the U10 boys. As you can see, there are 10 teams. Their first two play-in games will be played the weekend of April 2nd and 3rd, which is the round of 16. And then the remaining teams will be in the quarterfinals, starting the quarterfinals, which is April 23rd and 24th. Next, we're going to move on to the U13 girls. In the U13 girls, we have 15 teams registered for the Cup this year. The only seeded team is the Bethesda Blue, returning from last year. 3 teams, Maryland United North, Severna Park Fury, and Maryland United Red, were not eligible to be seeded under our State Cup guidelines. So now let's begin. The first seed has already been established. We will now go to the second seed for U13 girls. The second seed will be Maryland United Football Red. The third seed, thank you. The third seed is Montgomery Soccer Dragons White. Fourth seed is the Towson United Under 13 Maroon. The fifth seed is the Hartford Soccer Alliance United Pride Girls. The next seed in the Under 13 is the Pipeline Black. The next seed for this group, the U13 girls, will be FC Frederick, 02. The next seed is Potomac Soccer Club U13 Girls Blue. The seed after that is the Soccer Association of Columbia SAC Premier White. The next seed, number 10 on your bracket, is the Future Soccer Club Monarchs White, are the 10th seed. The 11th seed is the Arundel Soccer Association Pumas. The 12th seed for this year's U13 girls bracket is the Calvert Soccer Association Lightning Select. The 13th seed in the U13s, 13 and 13, will be the Baltimore Bays Legacy. The 14th seed, my accounting firm, I better check them out. The 14th seed will be the Davidsonville Thunder in the U13 girls. And the 15th final, but certainly not least seed for the U13 girls is the Perry Hall White Marsh Fury. So this concludes the U13 girls bracket for State Cup. As you can see, there are 15 teams within the bracket. Their first round will be played on the weekend of April 2nd and 3rd, the first round. And then the quarterfinals again will be held on April 23rd and 24th for the U13 girls. Now we're going to move on to the U13 boys. In this bracket we have 19 teams. Only one team is seeded this year, which is the Salisbury United Gold, which last year was formerly the Fruitland FC Fire. The Bethesda Blue, the Bay Skipjack, and the Sac Premier Blue will not be seeded this year, either due to not applying or to the continuity rule. So let's begin with the U13 boys, again remembering that the Salisbury has the first seed to begin with. So for the second seed in U13 boys, it's the Maryland Independent DFC Select is the second seed. The third seed for U13 boys will be the Future Soccer Club Black, third seed. The fourth seed for this year's U13 boys is the Olney Boys and Girls Club Rangers Blue. The fifth seed for the U13 boys will be FC Frederick 02. The sixth seed will be Bowie Boys and Girls Club Bulldogs. The next seed is the Tacoma Park Soccer Club Friends United. Next seed, number 8 in the U13 boys, will be Bethesda Blue, seed number 8. Seed number 9 for U13 boys, Potomac Soccer Association Blue, U13 boys. The 10th seed is Bethesda Soccer Club Green. The 11th seed is Bayshore Soccer Club Arsenal. The 12th seed for this year's U13 boys is the FC USA Soccer Club. The 13th seed for this year is Soccer Association of Columbia Premier Blue. SAC Premier Blue is the 13th seed. The 14th seed is the Baltimore Celtic Soccer Club, the Fire. The 15th seed is the Maryland United Football Club Boys Red. They're the 15th seed. The 16th seed in the U13 boys is the Northern Elite Soccer Club Renegades. The 17th seed for this year's U13 Boys Cup is Arundel Soccer Association Arsenal. The next seed Future Soccer Club Monarchs Red. And the last seed, the 19th seed of the 2016 U13 Boys State Cup, is Pipeline Soccer Club Black. That is the 19th seed. So that now concludes the U13 Boys State Cup draw. As you can see, there are 19 teams in the bracket for this year. The first game, the first play-in games will be the weekend of March 12th and 13th or March 19th and 20th, depending upon tournaments. So you can see the bracket here, 19 teams. The second round will be played in the round of 16, which will be held at the Soccerplex on the weekend of April 2nd and 3rd. Now we're moving on to the U14 girls bracket for the State Cup. Again, this year there are 17 teams in the girls U14 bracket. All four winners, finalists, and semifinalists returned from last year and are seeded in this order. The first seed is FC Frederick, who are the returning regional champions. HSC Thunder, the finalists last year, are seeded 2. The Pipeline Black are seeded 3rd and will be in the side of HSA. And then the Potomac Hotspurs Blue, the final semifinalist last year, is seeded 4th and is on the same side as FC Frederick. So now let's begin. We'll begin in the U14 girls, and the 5th seed will actually be the first that we pull. So number 5, which will go in the side bracket opposite of seed number 4. The 5th team is the Greater Severna Park Black Thunder, is the 5th seed. The 6th seed, which goes along in the same bracket as the 3rd seed. The 6th seed is Bethesda Soccer Club Storm. The 7th seed, which is bracketed in with the 2nd seed. The 7th seed is Olney Boys and Girls Club Freedom Blue. The 8th seed, which is bracketed in the same grouping as FC Frederick, seed number 1. The 8th seed is the Bethesda Soccer Club Force. Next, let's go to the 9th seed, who will play the Force in the first round. The 9th seed, Hartford Soccer Club Alliance United Liberty, is the 9th seed. The 10th seed for U14 girls is the Maryland United Football Club Red. The 11th seed for the U14 girls, Soccer Association of Columbia Premier Blue, SAC Premier Blue. The next seed, number 12 on the bracket, they get tougher to open as we go, is the Maryland Rush Montgomery, aka the Warriors. Maryland Rush Montgomery, Warriors. The next seed, number 13, is the Perry White Marsh Pumas. The next seed, number 14, Calvert Soccer Association Wolves, is number 14. Number 15, number 15 is Maryland Soccer United Blaze White. And then the final two teams, number 16 and number 17, We'll have the play-in game on March the 5th. Number 16 is the Davidsonville Athletic Association Dynamite, and they will face the 17th seed in the play-in round, which is the Lutherville Timonium Soccer Club Strikers Purple. So that's the seeding for the U14 girls. As you can see, the final two seeds will play each other on the weekend of March 5th and 6th, with the next round, the round of 16, being played the weekend of April 2nd and 3rd at the Soccerplex. So that's the U14 girls. Now moving to the U14 boys, which they'll have 17 teams in this bracket also. All 4 teams returned from last year as seeds. The Baltimore Celtic Derby, which is the returning national champions, are seeded first. The Pipeline Black team is seeded second. They are the returning finalists. And then the semifinalists, the Olney Rangers Blue, will be seeded number 3 in the Pipeline Black bracket. And the 4th seed is Perry Hall White Marsh Marlins Premier, who will be as the 4th seed and lined up on the same side as Baltimore Celtic Derby. So again, let's go and begin. We'll start with the seed number 5 in the U14 boys bracket. The 5th seed, which will be in the same side as the Perry White Marsh Marlins, the 5th seed, is the Potomac Soccer Club Blue, 5th seed. The 6th seed, who is in the same bracket as the Olney Rangers, the 6th seed, is the Salisbury United Gold. The 7th seed, which is in the same side of the bracket as the Pipeline, the 7th seed, is Brazza United Football Club. Brazza United Football Club is the 7th seed. The 8th seed, which is in the same side as the Baltimore Derby, is A3 United, is the 8th seed. The 9th seed, who is also included in that bracket, is the Arundel Soccer Club Premier. The 10th seed will be the Bethesda Pre-Academy 02, the 10th seed. The 11th seed will be Montgomery Soccer United Vipers Green. The next seed is the Bethesda Soccer Club Green in the U14 boys. Now as we prepare for the 13th seed, Maryland United Football Club Red is the 13th seed. The 14th seed, Pipeline Soccer Club Red, will be the 14th seed. The 15th seed is FC Frederick, 15. The 16th seed, and this team will be playing in the play-in game that starts either the weekend of March 12th and 13th or 19th and 20th. The 16th seed is Bethesda Blue in the U14. And the 17th team and the team that they will be playing in that first round game is Soccer Association of Columbia Blue, SAC Premier Blue. So that concludes the U14 boys bracket for State Cup. Just as a rewind, the U14 boys have 17 teams. Their first game, which is the game of the 16th and 17th seed, that will be played on the weekend of either March 12th and 13th or 19th and 20th. The round of 16 games We played on April 2nd and 3rd that weekend at the Soccerplex in Germantown, Maryland. And now we advance to the U15 girls. The U15 girls this year have 14 teams. Out of the 14 teams, we have 3 teams that are seeded. The first seed is the Strikers from PSC. The second seed is the FC Frederick girls. And then the third seed is the Pipeline Black. The returning team that did not meet the continuity record, Maryland United Football Club Red, will be actually involved in the draw. So again, as we get ready for the U15 girls, remember again that we have 14 teams in this bracket and that the first team that we're going to draw is going to be seed number 4. So the 4th seed for U15 girls. Olney Boys and Girls Club Spirit is the 4th seed. The 5th seed, who will be in that same side of the bracket, Hartford Soccer Alliance United Force is the 5th seed. The 6th seed, Montgomery Soccer Incorporated Lightning are the 6th seed. The 7th seed, and as the same side on the bracket as FC Frederick, the 7th seed is the Soccer Association of Columbia Showcase Premier. SAC Showcase Premier is the 7th seed. And then the 8th seed, which is on the same side of the bracket as the Strikers. The 8th seed will be Maryland United Football Club Red is the 8th seed. The 9th seed, Soccer Association of Columbia Premier White. SAC Premier White is the 9th seed. The 10th seed, as we go through the U15 girls, Potomac Soccer Association Blue. They're the 10th seed. The 11th seed for the U15 girls. 11th seed is Soccer Association of Columbia Premier Blue. The next seed, number 12, for U15 girls. Is the Bethesda Soccer Club Charge. That will be the 12th seed. The 13th seed will be the Maryland Rush NPL. And then the 14th and final seed for the U15 girls will be the Greater Severna Park Athletic Association Lasers. So that concludes the 14-team U15 girls. As you can see in this bracket, the first games for this bracket are going to be held the weekend of April 2nd and 3rd, with the quarterfinals the weekend of April 23rd and 24th. So the 2 top-seeded teams will not play until the quarterfinal round. They'll advance directly to quarterfinals. The next bracket that we're going to go to is the U15 boys. This bracket has 20 teams this year. And again, 3 of the 4 teams are seeded by our state rules. The first seed is the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty, the state champions from last year. The second seed is the Olney Rangers Blue, one of the semifinalists. And the third seed is FC Frederick, also one of the semifinalists. Again, this is the division where Bethesda Blue, who was the finalist last year, did not meet the continuity rule. And so the Olney Rangers and FC Frederick are seeded and will be on the same side of the bracket again this year. So now we advance to go to the U15 boys. As I said throughout the draw, we had the accounting firm of Smith and Fleming that took care of all of the draws that we put together. These were sorted, they've been mixed around, and now we bring them out so that we have completely a draw that everyone has the same opportunity for. So I thank the accounting firm of Smith and Fleming for handling this. So next, the fourth seed for the U15 boys, the fourth seed. Is the Laurel Soccer Club Lions White is the fourth seed. The fifth seed would be the same bracket as them. The fifth seed is Greater Severna Park Athletic Tornadoes as the fifth seed. The sixth seed, which is in the same side as FC Frederick. The sixth seed for U15 boys is Arundel Soccer Club Juventus Elite, sixth seed. The seventh seed, same side as the Olney Rangers Blue. The seventh seed is Montgomery Soccer Club Thunder, seventh seed. The eighth seed, in the same side as the Baltimore Celtic Dynasty. The eighth seed, Potomac Soccer Association Blue, eighth seed. The ninth seed is the Thunder Soccer Club of Howard County. Thunder Soccer Club Locomotive is the ninth seed. The 10th seed, number 10, is Next Level Soccer Ajax. Next Soccer Club Ajax is number 10. Number 11, Maryland United Football Club Red is the 11th seed. The 12th seed, Salisbury United Soccer Club Red Devils. The next seed, number 13, is the Baltimore Bays Soccer Club. Baltimore Bays Soccer Club is that seed. The 14th seed for the U15 boys, the 14th seed is Bethesda Soccer Club Blue as the 14th seed. The 15th seed Soccer Association of Columbia Premier Blue, SAC Premier Blue, is the 15th seed. The 16th seed Fort Washington Soccer Association FERPO. Again, Fort Washington FERPO. The next seed, number 17. The 17th seed in this age bracket, Brasa United Football Club, U15 boys. The 18th seed from the DeMatha Soccer Academy Elite will be the 18th seed in the U15 boys. The 19th seed didn't want to come out of its egg. The 19th seed, Pipeline Soccer Club Black. And the 20th seed, final, certainly but not least, the final for the U15 boys, Calverton Soccer Association Eagles United. That's the 20th seed in the U15 boys for this year. So to recap, there are 20 teams in the U15 boys. The first play-in games are March 12th and 13th, or the weekend of March 19th and 20th. The round of 16 games will be played April 2nd and 3rd at the Soccerplex. So this is the U15 boys. As we move on now to the U16 girls, there are 12 teams registered this year in this competition. 3 teams have been seeded. The state champions, FC Frederick, are the first seed. The runner-ups last year, ASA Premier, the second seed. And the third seed is the Maryland OPSA Magic, which was formerly ECSC Magic. Those 3 teams are seeded. The MSC Panthers did not return for this year, and so clearly are not seeded. So again, the U16 girls, as we begin the draw for the U16 girls, we're going to start with the 4th seed on the bracket. The 4th seed is the Maryland Rush Montgomery Thunder, 4th seed. The 5th seed, opposite of the Maryland Rush, in the same bracket side, is Maryland United Football Club Red, is the 5th seed. The 6th seed, in the same side of the bracket as the Magic, the 6th seed is the Maryland Rush Montgomery Rush. Maryland Rush Montgomery Rush is the 6th seed. The 7th seed, which is in the same side of the bracket as ASA. The 7th seed is Baltimore Bays Chelsea. Baltimore Bays Chelsea is the 7th seed. The 8th seed, in the same side of the bracket with FC Frederick, is the Bethesda Breakers. The Bethesda Breakers are the 8th seed. The 9th seed for this year's U16 girls. And we'll play the Breakers in the first round. The 9th seed is Maryland Rush NPL. The 10th seed, number 10, is Olney Boys and Girls Club Soccer, is the 10th seed. The 11th seed in the U16 girls. Soccer Association of Columbia United Premier is the 11th seed, SAC United Premier. And the 12th and final seed of the U16 girls is Pipeline Soccer Club Black. So that concludes again the 12 teams in the U16 girls. As a recap, the first round of the U16 girls, which is the round of 16, we played the weekend of April 2nd and 3rd. The quarterfinals, and as you can see here, the top 2 teams, along with 2 other teams, will then move on to the quarterfinals, which are the weekends of April 22nd and 23rd and 24th. So that's the U16 girls. We're now going on to the U16 boys. In the U16 boys bracket, we have one of our larger brackets that we have in the U16 boys. There are 22 teams, which are the most in the entire State Cup draw for this year. 22 teams. The first seed is the Fuster team, which are the returning regional champions. The second seed is the FC Frederick team. The third seed is Pachuca. And the 4th seed is Potomac Hotspur Black, which were the 2 semifinalists from last year. So as we move on to 16 boys in the State Cup draw, remember again, 22 teams. So we will begin with the 5th seed for this year's competition. And the 5th seed Barca FC Maryland Elite. Barca Elite is the 5th seed. The 6th seed Bethesda Soccer Club Blue is the 6th seed. The 7th seed for U16 boys, Bayshore Soccer Club Ospreys are the 7th seed. The 8th seed Bethesda Soccer Club Pre-Academy are the 8th seed. The 9th seed Pipeline Soccer Club Red is the 9th seed. Number 10. Baltimore Celtic Soccer Club Christos. So Baltimore Celtic Christos is the 10th seed. Number 11. Salisbury United Gunners, number 11. Number 12. Baltimore Bay Soccer Club United Rose, number 12. Number 13. Alliance Soccer Club Galaxy, number 13 in the U16 boys. Number 14 in our largest group this year for the draw. Number 14 is Bayshore Soccer Club Juventus. Number 15. Maryland United Football Club Red. Number 17. Number 16. Number 16 for the U16 boys. Soccer Association of Columbia Baltimore Armor Pre-Academy boys. Number 16. Number 17. Soccer Association of Columbia Premier Blue. SAC Premier Blue. Number 18. The Football Club of Maryland Black. Again, the Football Club of Maryland Black. Number 19. St. Mary's Soccer is number 19. St. Mary's Soccer Rangers. Number 20. Only Boys and Girls Club Rangers Blue. Number 21. Lucky number 21. Greater Severna Park Athletic Association Fury. And number 22 for the U16 boys. Our largest bracket. Pipeline Soccer Club Black, number 22. So again, this is the U16 boys bracket. As you can see, there are 22 teams, our largest bracket of the entire tournament. Again, the first round games will be played the weekend of either March 12th and 13th or 19th and 20th. The round of 16, which every team will compete in, that is remaining, is the weekend of April 2nd and 3rd. So we wish good luck to all the U16 boys teams. Remember again, in the U16 boys division, we have a wild card. So the first and second place team will be advancing to Barboursville, West Virginia to represent the great state of Maryland at the Eastern Regionals. Now we go to the U17 girls division. Again, this is an important division because also we have a wild card and the top two teams will be advancing. In U17 girls, there are 12 teams registered for this year. The 3 seeds are ASA Missouri, state champions, the MRM Rush, and the SAC Premier Blue. Both semifinals last year are seeded 2 and 3. The runner-ups last year, the DC Stoddard Metro Blue, did not apply for this year. So as we begin the 17 girls, again, a very important division, we will start with the 4th seed in this bracket. Number 4. Potomac Blue CCL Flames. Potomac Blue CCL Flames, they are the number 4 seed. The 5th seed, opposite of Potomac, will be Bethesda Soccer Club Cosmos, 5th seed. The 6th seed, opposite SAC Premier Blue. The 6th seed is Maryland United Football Club Red. The 7th seed, opposite the MRM Rush. The 7th seed, Pipeline Soccer Club Black. The 8th seed, opposite ASA Azuri. The 8th seed is FC Frederick, 8th seed. The 9th seed is Perry Hall Whitemarsh Warriors, the 9th seed. They will play FC Frederick in the first round. The 10th seed, Cardiff Football Club Girls Blue. The 11th seed, Montgomery Soccer Club Incorporated Stallions. MSC Stallions are the 11th seed. And the final seed for the U17 girls for 2016 is the Alliance Venom Premier, are the 12th seed for this year. So again, for the U17 girls State Cup, again, a very important age group because the top two teams, the winner and the finalists, will be attending or going to the regional tournament for this year. As you can see, the first round games will be played on April 2nd and 3rd. The quarterfinals are played on the weekend of April 23rd and 24th, and all teams will participate, and that will be the quarterfinal round. Now we move on to the U17 boys bracket. There are 20 teams in this bracket. There are 2 teams that are seeded for this year. The defending national champions, the Baltimore Celtic, are the 1st seed, and the ASA Premier are the 2nd seed. The Baltimore-based Chelsea and SAC Real did not qualify under our State Cup rules as far as a seeded team. So we will begin with the U17 boys with the 3rd seeded team out of the 20. The 3rd seeded team is DC Stoddard Rhett Metros in the U17 boys bracket. Seed number 4, Soccer Association of Columbia Premier Blue. SAC Premier Blue is seed number 4. Number 5, Maryland DFC Select. Maryland DFC Select is the 5th seed. The 6th seed for U17 boys, Soccer Association of Columbia Premier White. SAC Premier White. The next seed is the Maryland Independent Hartford Patriots. The Hartford Patriots are the next seed. Number 9, the number 8 seed, Salisbury United Hotspurs. Salisbury United Hotspurs is the 8th seed. The 9th seed, Maryland United Football Club Red, 9th seed. The 10th seed, number 10, FC Frederick is the 10th seed. The 11th seed in the U17 boys. The 11th seed is Pachuca Football Club River Plate. So again, Pachuca Football is the 11th seed. The 12th seed is the Pipeline Soccer Club Red as the 12th seed. The 13th seed in the U17 boys. The 13th seed, Lutherville Timonium Strikers. Lutherville Timonium Soccer Club Strikers. The 14th seed, Fort Washington Soccer Association Union. The 15th seed, Bethesda Soccer Club Blue is the 15th seed. 16th seed, Olney Boys and Girls Club Roadrunners Blue are the 16th seed. The 17th seed, which will play Olney in the first round. The 17th seed, Baltimore Bays Soccer Club, number 17. Number 18, number 18 is Ellicott City Soccer Club Black, the first entry from Ellicott City for the Cup this year. The 19th pick, Freedom Soccer Club Dragons are seed number 19. And the 20th and final pick for the U17 boys, Pipeline Soccer Club Black is number 20. So again, in a recap, for the U17 boys with 20 teams, their first round play-in games are either the weekend of March 12th and 13th or 19th and 20th, depending upon schedules for those games. The round of 16 is April 2nd and 3rd. They will be played at the Soccerplex with the winning teams there advancing to the quarterfinals. And now we come almost to the end. We have the last age group, the U18 girls and the U18 boys for our draw. Before we do the U18 bracket, I wanted to thank all the members of the MSYSA board for all their help and participation in today's draw and show. I'd like to thank Greg Smith for all his help as far as getting prepared for this presentation. But more importantly, I'd really like to thank the families, the parents, the coaches of our teams here in Maryland that participate in the state club. And the most important are the wonderful and great players that we have in our state that participate in this competition. So let's move on and let's go to the number 18 U18 girls bracket. The U18 girls bracket has 7 teams. Out of the 7 teams, we have 2 teams that are seeded. Maryland United Football, the Coyotes are seeded as the number 1 team, returning state champions. SAC Premier Showcase Blue, as one of the semifinalists, are the number 2 seed. The MRM Rush and the Maryland United Football Red, again, will go into the regular seeding due to either not applying or not being under the continuity rule for this year. So, as we begin the U18 girls, we will start with seed number 3. 3rd seed, Pipeline Soccer Club Black will be the 3rd seed. 4th seed, is Bethesda Fusion, 4th seed. 5th seed will play Bethesda in the first round. The 5th seed. Fifth seed, Arundel Soccer Club Blast, 5th seed, will play Bethesda in the first round. 6th seed, the 6th seed is FC Frederick. And the 7th seed will play SAC Premier Showcase in the first round, the 7th and final seed for this age group. Maryland United Football Club Red will play SAC in the first round. So again, 7 teams in the U18 girls. They begin play in the quarterfinals with the Coyotes receiving a bye for that round. The quarterfinals are the weekend of April 23rd and 24th at the Soccerplex, with the semifinals scheduled the weekend of May 14th and 15th. And then the final division, U18 boys. There are 14 teams in this draw. Out of that, 2 teams are seeded. The MSC Falcons, the reigning state champions from last year, and FC Frederick. SAC Premier Blue and Pipeline Black, again, were not seeded due to either not applying or not having enough players under the continuity rule. So again, for the U18 boys, let's begin, and their bracket will start with the 3rd seed. The 3rd seed, Baltimore Celtic Soccer Club is the 3rd seed. The 4th seed for 18 boys, Pipeline Black. Pipeline Black is the 4th seed. The 5th seed, who will play Pipe, is the same grouping as Pipeline. The 5th seed is Arundel Soccer Association Blackhawks. 6th seed. The 6th seed is Soccer Association of Columbia Premier Blue is the 6th seed. The 7th seed, Maryland Rush Montgomery is the 7th seed. The 8th seed, Soccer Association of Columbia Baltimore Armor Pre-Academy Blue. SAC Baltimore Academy Pre-Academy Blue. The 9th seed, Soccer Association of Columbia Premier White. The 10th seed, number 10, Bethesda Blue is the 10th seed. Number 11, is Maryland Independent Juventus FC United. Number 11, Juventus FC United. Number 12, Bayshore United. Bayshore United Soccer Club is number 12. Number 13, A3 United. And the last and final seed, number 14 of the entire draw today, Washington Soccer Club Dragons FC is seed number 14. So again, as a recap for the U18 boys with 14 teams. Their first round, remember the 18 start later, so I want to re-clarify for the girls in a second. But the U18 boys, the first round is held on Sunday, May the 8th. It is later than the other brackets, with the quarterfinals and semifinals held 2 weeks after that. For the U18 girls, looking back again, they will not start until the 21st and 22nd of May. They'll have the quarterfinals and the semifinals on the same weekend before the finals. So this concludes the draw this year for the Maryland State Cup. Again, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this, especially since you didn't have to come to a meeting as we've had in the past. We wish all of you success and good luck, and thanks again for participating.